When you think of Supergirl's origin today, you immediately picture her leaving Krypton as a teenager only to get caught in a time warp and arriving on Earth years after Kal-El had already become Superman. But it wasn't always like that. Supergirl has had multiple backstories in comics depending on the continuity. Originally, she came to Earth after the death of Argo City, a surviving fragment of Krypton. Kara was both chronologically and physically younger than Superman. Pre-crisis Supergirl was mostly a female version of Superman without many distinct traits of her own, but she was still very popular. Eventually, she would be killed off in the iconic Crisis on Infinite Earth story, and in the aftermath, DC would establish a strict rule that Superman should be the only surviving Kryptonian. It took nearly 20 years for them to reverse this decision and bring back the original Kara Zor-El Supergirl. That's when we got the version that is now considered her definitive origin, the one where she leaves Krypton as a teen meant to protect baby Kal-El, only to arrive long after he's grown into Superman. Realizing her mission is no longer needed, Kara decides to find her own path and decides to become Supergirl. The new 52 origin changed a few details but mostly kept the same foundation. In 2021, DC released Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which combined her pre-crisis and post-crisis origins. In this version, Kara is born on Krypton and survives the planet's destruction as part of Argo City. However, Argo City eventually suffers from kryptonite poisoning, forcing Kara's parents to send her to Earth, where she becomes trapped in a time warp before reaching it. Since 2005, Kara has generally been depicted as part of the Tim Drake generation of legacy heroes. I kind of love how we always use the Robins to mark DC generations, and I hope that never changes. In 2022, Batman Superman World's Finest would re-establish Supergirl as being active when Dick Grayson was Robin. This would later be explained in continuity, and that would lead to her current origin story. Kara was born on Krypton, survived Argo City after its destruction, endured its poisoning, and became its last survivor. She would be sent to Earth to take care of her infant cousin, but get caught in a time wrap before reaching Earth. When she reaches Earth, she chooses to become Supergirl and would work alongside Batman, Superman, Dick Grayson's Robin, before ultimately dying heroically in Crisis on Infinite Earths. Kara would stay dead for many years before being resurrected by Darkseid, which would lead into her post-Crisis, New 52, and Rebirth adventures, though without the modernized New 52 origin. That's the Supergirl we have now, an amalgamation of pre-Crisis, post-Crisis, New 52, and modern incarnations of Kara Zor-El. And honestly, I think that works beautifully. Kara functions best when all her histories come together because each version brings something valuable to who she is. I hope DC continues to use this synthesis as a chance to explore Kara as an experienced veteran superhero rather than portraying her as a naive young girl who is stuck in the same struggles. Her sacrifice in Crisis on Infinite Earths always felt overshadowed by the Flash's death. I would love to see other heroes in the DC universe truly acknowledge her heroism and her sacrifice and be inspired by her instead of treating it like a forgotten moment in history.